local Centra, we have great offers, like Centra strip loin steak 360 gram, only €6. For Pancake Tuesday, selected Odlums, Home Cook, Rouse and Nutella products, any 2 for €4. And until Sunday, Carlsberg 20 bottle box, only €21. Centra, live every day. Enjoy cost sensibly.
It's nearly 6 p.m. Right now, we're taking Irish business further and bringing international business nearer. This is On Coast Commerce, a world closer.
News Talk Traffic and Travel.
Brought to you by Allianz Insurance. Visit allianz.ie for a car, home or pet insurance quote today.
In Laois and Kildare, traffic still very heavy on the M7 eastbound from before Junction 15 Ballybridges through to Junction 14 Monasterevin following a vehicle fire. In Dublin, the M50 northbound is quite busy between Junction 11 Tala and Junction 7 Lucan. In Galway City, it's quite slow both ways on the Tuam Road between Bohermore and the Bohuna Junction. That's your traffic and travel on News Talk.
The Hard Shoulder.
With the all-new Nissan Qashqai, now electrified with mild hybrid power. See nissan.ie.
This is News Talk.
Let's go on the hard shoulder. Brent Pope is dropping in to preview this weekend's clash against Italy, plus the two Johnnies, coffee culture and a whole lot more with the final furlong. You can get in touch as always by text 53106 at a cost of 30 cents. You can email thehardShoulder@newstalk.com or reach me on Twitter @thehardShoulder. For all of that, we'll get the latest news headlines. Here's Quisha Connolly.
On 106 to 108 FM. On the News Talk app, powered by Go Loud and smart speakers. This is News Talk.
It's 6 o'clock, good evening. The sound of distant gunfire and explosions can be heard in the government quarter of Kyiv as Russian soldiers edge closer to the capital of Ukraine. It's been another day of fighting, with a Ukrainian defense minister claiming forces from Moscow have lost almost 3,000 officers during the invasion so far. But Russia claims it has seized a strategic airport near Kyiv, which would make it easier to bring in reinforcements. NATO has announced it will deploy more troops to its member nations around Ukraine, but they won't enter the country. Both sides are open to talks, but there are disagreements on the venue and if Ukraine would demilitarize first. Meanwhile, Russia has partially restricted access to Facebook as a response to the social media company blocking Kremlin-backed propaganda. Meanwhile, the Minister for Foreign Affairs says the EU should consider expelling Russia from the SWIFT banking system. EU foreign ministers have been meeting in Brussels to finalise the details of sanctions against Russia. Minister Simon Coveney says work needs to start on a further wave of penalties.
To add, for example, the SWIFT system, payment system as part of that package, but I think we should be open to other proposals as well, absolutely, to lengthen the list in terms of people who are being targeted with asset freezes and travel bans.
Fianna Fáil MEP Billy Kelleher told the Hard Shoulder on News Talk that Russia's ambassador to Ireland, Yuri Flivatov, should be immediately expelled from the country.
I think the entire European Union should expel the diplomatic corps of what is effectively a rogue regime that has invaded a country that was of no threat to it. So clearly we've sanctions in place, but I believe that we should also have a diplomatic sanction, and certainly from an Irish perspective, Ambassador Flivatov and others of diplomatic corps should be sent back to Russia.
In other news, a senior counsel has been remanded in custody after appearing in court charged with the murder of Keith Conlon. 53-year-old Dermot Phelan of Kiltalon Lane in Tala appeared before Tala District Court this morning, accused of killing the 36-year-old on Tuesday afternoon. He was remanded to appear again in court next Friday. And the Rape Crisis Centre says the growing number of people facing prosecution for rape is evidence that awareness campaigns are working. New figures show the number of people the DPP decided to prosecute for rape is up 66% in 5 years. Executive Director of the Rape Crisis Network, Cliona Sadlier, says there could be a number of factors behind the increase.
Does this mean more sexual violence out there, or does it mean survivors have more confidence in the system, or indeed they're willing to put their cases into the system as a challenge to the system sometimes?
That's it for now. We'll have more at 6:30.
Get 5% off VHI First Care plans and unlock a wide range of healthcare services when you buy online and start your policy between November 25th, 2021 and March 31st, 2022. Search VHI 5% to join today. Terms and conditions apply. VHI Healthcare DAC trading as VHI Healthcare is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
OTB Sports on News Talk.
Sponsored by Betway. From the grandstands, straight to you. Bet the responsible way. 18 plus at Louis.net.
Good evening. I'm Richie McCormack. The Republic of Ireland's Nations League game away to Ukraine looks set to be played at a neutral venue. UEFA's executive committee decided today that all Russian and Ukrainian teams playing in European competition will have to move their home games. St. Petersburg was also stripped of the Champions League final and moved to Paris instead. In the SSE Electricity Premier Division tonight, Shamrock Rovers make the trip to a sold-out Derry City. Bohemians play Dundalk. Damien Duff takes his Shelbourne side to Drogheda. St. Pat's host Sligo, and UCD play Finn Harps. In the First Division, Waterford entertain Bray. Cork go up against Galway, and Cove Ramblers play Wexford. Norwich can move off the foot of the Premier League table tonight with a victory away to Southampton. Ulster fullback Mike Lowry will make his Ireland debut in Sunday's Six Nations meeting with Italy. On the pitch, Ireland's under-20s take on their Italian counterparts at Musgrave Park tonight, and Leinster face the Emirates Lions in the United Rugby Championship. While finally, Shane Lowry is 1 under par playing the third hole of his second round at the Honda Classic. Daniel Berger is the clubhouse leader on 10 under. For the latest and breaking news, turn on push notifications in your OTB Sports app now.
News Talk weather.
Thanks to Ryanair. Be a winner in fly to Cheltenham with Ryanair's lowest fares in March.
Breezy and mostly cloudy tonight with patchy rain and drizzle. Lowest temperatures of 4 to 8 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Thank you very much, Quishak. You're listening to The Hard Shoulder here on News Talk. Kieran Cudahy with you until 7 o'clock, and I'm delighted to welcome to studio Brent Pope. Brent, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Are you excited about the Italy game?
I'm over the moon about this game. I can't wait.
The game you're most excited for?
You wouldn't even know Italy are in town. And that's not a kind of a disrespect to Italians. I think they've gone through a pretty tough period. I mean, everybody's been talking about them exiting the Six Nations, bringing South Africa. I don't agree. I think that, you know, the Six Nations needs to remain the sort of focal point of European rugby, because if you bring a Southern Hemisphere side in, it just makes it another competition. So we want to have a situation where you have the Southern Hemisphere competition and the Northern Hemisphere competition, and then they all come together at a World Cup. You know, I wouldn't like to see South Africa there necessarily. I don't know, apart from tougher games, what they bring to it. You know.
Yeah, it would devalue the World Cup as well, wouldn't it? Because the only difference really is you're suddenly lumping in New Zealand and Australia.
That's the only difference, and you're right in saying that. That would be the only difference. And every 4 years you'd put in